Welcome back to the Deep Six Wrestling Podcast. It is July 6th. It's Wednesday, which means that when we're recording this, AEW Dynamite will be later tonight, which means we will, of course, have our weekly coverage for AEW Dynamite on our YouTube channel and on the podcast feed, so keep an eye out for that later this week. But that's not what we're here for today. Today, it's a different occasion. We said we were going to do this last year, and we never did. But we did it in 2020, and so we're doing it again this year. At the end of every year, we do our year-end awards where we go over the best and worst of wrestling for that year. But in 2020, we did the midyear awards, which was at the halfway point. We gave out similar awards, but as a halfway marker, and then at the end of the year, we gave our year ends, and nice to compare them. So we're bringing it back this year, and this is going to be our midyear award special, where we have 15 different wrestling awards that we're going to give out. And then at the end of the year, we'll be able to compare and see what changed, if anything stayed the same, and it should be a good time. If you're new here, I'm Pat, and I'm joined by two people today. First of which is Ryan from the Impact Wrestling Power Hour, and my other co-host for the day, making his glorious return to the, I shouldn't say glorious, that's Rob's thing, making his dynamic return to the podcast is one half of our, I don't even know what to call it anymore, but Joey's here. Joey's making his return to the podcast.
I'm back. Yep. It's good to be back, honestly.
Yeah. So, Joey, how are you? The people who listen at.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not too shabby. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the podcast. We're on all types of streaming services. You can find the links to everywhere that we stream in the episode description. If you're on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment. Let us know who your MVPs are and your LVPs for the year are in wrestling. Comment your favorite stuff. Whatever you want to comment, feel free to do so over on YouTube. Be sure to leave a like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're at it. We appreciate it. On top of AEW Dynamite coverage this week, we will have our normal stuff for Impact Wrestling, as well as talking about Against All Odds, which was over the weekend, which was a phenomenal show from Impact. So when you tune into the Impact Wrestling Power Hour with Ryan and Angela this week, you will also get to hear about Against All Odds. So be sure to do that. Check it out. It'll be on YouTube and the podcast feed as per the usual. I think that's about it. We have the G1 starts next weekend. So sometime next week, we will probably do a prediction podcast for the G1. And then similar to the Best of the Super Juniors, I plan on watching the whole thing. So I'm going to try and get reviews out for every night of the tournament. We'll see how that goes, because this goes from July 16th to August 18th. So a full month of wrestling. So we'll see how that goes. But without further ado, let's dive on in. We got these awards to give out. So we're going to start at the bottom of the list here. So we're going to start with our best and worst pay-per-views of the year so far. Do you guys want to do best or worst first?
Let's do worst.
Okay, let's do worst. Ryan, since you answered, you get to go first. What was your worst wrestling pay-per-view of the year so far?
Yeah, so I think we all, everybody who did these did shows that we watched.
Oh
And not-
yeah, let me cut in and say that while Rob and Angelo are not on the podcast, they both did awards, so
Yes.
we will have theirs as well.
Yeah. So I'm not putting anything that I didn't watch, parts of or the whole of. So my worst pay-per-view of the year so far was this year's Royal Rumble. I thought it was hella disappointing. Yeah.
Okay.
I know I'm not the only one who put this, so
That's fair. Joey, what did you put? Did you also put the Rumble?
I didn't. No, I did not actually.
Okay.
I put the World on GCW,
Oh, that's actually I forgot
which
about
was
that.
my introduction to GCW, and it wasn't a good one. It wasn't a good introduction, and I've been very hesitant to tune in again. But it wasn't a really good pay-per-view at all.
No,
for some reason I thought that was last year.
no, but it wasn't.
See, I thought it
Yeah.
was too, but it was in January, I think.
Okay.
Or no,
Okay.
it was like February or January, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck. Okay.
I also thought it was last year, but then I had to look it up. I was like, wait a minute. No. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Can I change mine? I'm changing mine to that too because that was a god awful pay per view.
Yeah, so for those unfamiliar with this was on January 23rd,
Okay.
Yeah.
2022, and this was hyped up to be a huge show for GCW, and it felt like they were, taking a big step here. They were around the Hammerstein Ballroom, sold out crowd, and the card. I have the card in front of me, so we did watch this. We paid for this show. We went to a casino in the afternoon, and then the three of us and Angelo got together and watched this.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the Pabst Blue Ribbon Kickoff Battle Royale. I don't have the list for everybody who was in it, but Big Vin won that match. We had the kickoff scramble match, which was the Grim Reaper against Alex Zane, Dante Leon, Shane Mercer, Jack Cartwheel, and Ninja Mac. I feel like we enjoyed that just because, there was good people in that,
Yes.
and Grim Reaper was kind of funny.
Yes.
We had the Grab the Brass Ring ladder match. I remember this being
Atrocious.
a fucking mess. This was AJ Gray defeating
Almost killed himself.
PCO. Yep,
Yep.
defeating PCO, Alex Colon, G Raver, Tony Deppen, Jimmy Lloyd, and Jordan Oliver. We had a trios Lucha Libre rules match with Team Gringo defeating Team Bandito.
Who the commentary got wrong. I remember. Or not commentary, the ring announcer got wrong.
Yeah, the one match on the show that I think everybody pretty much agreed was really solid was Blake Christian versus Leo Rush. Just because it was
Yeah,
fun.
that was good.
We had Matt Cardona defeating Joey Janela in a 20-minute match that was just all over the place.
I love that match. That was great.
The Second Gear Crew with Sabu and Bill Alfonso defeated 440 in a 4-on-2 handicap match.
I don't remember that match.
I don't even remember that now. Yeah.
Ruby Soho defeated Alley Catch. Jeff Jarrett defeated Effie.
That was that bad.
John Moxley defeated Homicide. And then in the main event, which lasted 5 minutes, Matt Tremont and Nick Gage defeated the Briscoe brothers.
Yeah, it was the
GCW
return. It was the
Tag
return
Team
of
Championship.
Nick Gage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be hard for me to put anything on this level, but you guys mentioned the World on GCW. Ryan mentioned the Rumble. I have the Rumble listed down for my pick. But at the same time, this was a really not great show.
Yeah.
Comparing this to the Rumble had Seth Rollins defeating Roman Reigns, which I think everybody liked the match, but wasn't a fan of the finish because they went like 20 minutes and then had a DQ.
Yep.
Ronda Rousey was in the Women's Rumble, and the Women's Rumble was really not great and then got predictable with her coming in. There was all of the surprises were really like random or non-existent. Mickey James was there as the Impact Women's Champion, not the Knockouts Champion. Becky Lynch defeated Doudrop. Lashley defeated Lesnar due to interference from Roman in a bad match. There was a mixed tag with Edge and Beth Phoenix versus the Miz and Maurice. And then a horrible men's Rumble with Brock Lesnar winning.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think it's really like looking at the pay-per-views we've seen this year. I think it's only the only two options are definitely the Rumble and the World.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go with the World on GCW too.
Oh, clean sweep.
So
There you go.
let's see what we have from Rob and Angelo.
Well, I know Rob didn't choose the World on.
No, Rob didn't watch it. So Rob's
Yeah.
so I feel comfortable, not choosing the Royal Rumble because Rob will represent that as he chose the Royal Rumble for his worst pay-per-view.
Okay.
Angelo, I forgot. Angelo skipped 2 awards and it was or 1 award. It was the pay-per-views.
Okay.
He said I watch a lot less pay-per-views in full than the rest of everyone, so he didn't feel comfortable
That's fair.
choosing them.
Fair.
So, he has everything else, but no pay-per-views.
I feel like he's gonna say he would say the World on GCW solely because he spent money on it.
Yeah, so we'll choose Angelo's pick for him because he did watch that full show,
and he didn't seem to enjoy it.
No, so he can take that one.
Yeah.
All right, so from that we will go to our best pay-per-views of the year. Joey, I'll let you go first with your best pay-per-view.
I chose Double or Nothing.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah. Personally, I chose Double or Nothing because, CM Punk's one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see him become a world champion again in wrestling after, 7 years away. I thought it was also really cool to see, Wardlow finally being, freed from MJF.
Yeah.
And I think... what's it called? The Anarchy in the Arena was crazy, but it was very enjoyable. And yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Forbidden Door.
That's
I
fair.
thought Forbidden Door knocked it out of the park. I don't think there was.
That was my second choice.
Yeah, I don't think there was a bad match on Forbidden Door. I also thought it was just one of the best paced pay-per-views of the year. I thought the kickoff, they managed to fit 4 matches in on the kickoff, and all 4 of them, you could argue if they needed to be there. All 4 of them were pretty fun. We had people weren't super excited for the trios match that opened the show with Sammy, Jericho, and Suzuki versus Eddie, Yuta, and Shooter. But then that match happened, and I thought that was one of the best pay-per-view opening matches of the year. I thought it was an incredible trios match that had absolutely no right being as good as it was. I thought Shota Umino came off more of a star in that match than he has in his entire time in New Japan, or probably in his excursion in Rev Pro, because not to shit on Rev Pro, but it's not a super popular promotion. We had a really solid tag team match for the titles with FTR getting their moment to shine. We had a really fun All-Atlantic 4-way, even though that was, kind of handicapped with losing Ishii, but I thought Clark Connors got the crowd behind him at one point, so still successful. We got to see the Dudes with Attitudes, the greatest tag team in wrestling, and seeing Sting in the ring with Shingo was great. I thought El Phantasmo worked really good with the Bucks. Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay, genuine match of the year contender. Claudio versus Zach was really great. The IWGP 4-way I thought over-delivered, even with, the unfortunate finish with Cole getting concussed. We had the Shibata return. I thought Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm, they were the sole women's match on the card, but I thought they fit in pretty well with the style of just being really stiff and hard-hitting. And I thought Tanahashi versus Moxley was a really solid main event. So, I think they really knocked it out of the door for Forbidden Door, despite the kind of messy build and all of the injuries and people getting sick that hurt the card.
Yeah, I agree.
So Ryan, that brings it to you for the last pick here. What was your pay-per-view of the year?
So I went with Against All Odds.
Okay.
And I was hesitant on this because Impact doesn't list it as a pay-per-view. They list
we'll
it
count
as
it.
Impact Plus.
Yeah, we'll count it.
So if we weren't going to count it, I'd go Forbidden Door. But Against All Odds, just top to bottom, I thought, considering me and Angelo and you were very hesitant on this card, talking about how, there was no build or there was a lackluster build. It was only 2 weeks after Slammiversary, which was their biggest show of the year, celebrating 20 years of them. I thought that, every match knocked it out of the park. There was Josh versus Joe Doring as your main event. I don't think I mean, considering Joe Doring doesn't wrestle very often, and their previous match ended in DQ, I had high hopes for it still, just because it's Josh, and Joe in his singles matches so far, he hasn't had many, has done really well. I mean, he got a really good match out of Luke Gallows when Luke Gallows wasn't caring, or Doc Gallows wasn't caring. And he had a really good match with Kojima when Kojima came over to Impact.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought they knocked it out of the park to end the show. Sammy and Moose in Raven's Clockwork Orange House of Fun match, I thought was really well done. Moose and Sammy have fantastic chemistry, and they've had 2 fantastic matches in the span of 3 weeks. And I know hardcore matches aren't for everyone, but I just think that both of their matches, like there's enough of a story there that it makes it more than just, a hardcore match. Whether or not we want the feud to continue, that's another thing. But doesn't matter. I thought the match was really good. Tasha and Jordan Grace had, I think, one of the best knockouts title matches of the year so far.
I would say probably one of the best knockouts matches of the year.
Yeah. Mickie James and Mia Yim versus Deanna and Chelsea. I thought, considering I had zero hope for this match based off of Mickie James's previous appearances on Impact cards, I thought it was pretty good. And it helped further the Knockouts tag division, I believe. We also had a fantastic X Division match between Trey Miguel and Speedball Mike Bailey, who is having a fantastic year. Ace Austin and Chris Bay, in their first ever match tagging together, put on one hell of a performance against the Motor City Machine Guns. Again, having a fantastic year. I just think top to bottom, this card was fantastic. And for us putting, at least me, for not having super high hopes on the card, I thought it was a fantastically run card. And even the pre-show matches were pretty good. Black Truce and Laredo Kid killed it. And Brian Myers and Rich Swann had a really enjoyable combat match.
Yeah, that's all pretty fair. Again, I was very high on Against All Odds. The card not so much, but I thought that they really just knocked it out of the park with the pay-per-view.
Yep.
Or special, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
As for Rob, his pick is WrestleMania, and his reasoning that he gave me is he knows that all the AEW shows were good, meaning the pay-per-views, but he thought WrestleMania had more memorable moments for him personally, and everything delivered in the ring for the most part, barring the Vince McMahon Pat McAfee match, which we will get to, I'm sure, later on. Okay, and no pay-per-view for Angelo, obviously.
Yep.
Award, which we're going to go to our best feud and worst feud. So I guess I'll kick it off for worst feud from our favorite show this year. I just wrote in for what I did. I did everything to do with the TNT title, from Cody versus Sammy to Sammy versus Sky to Sammy versus Sky to Sky versus Kaz to Sammy, Ty, and Kaz versus American Top Team.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a mess, and we're still not out of the woods yet. Wardlow still needs to win this title. And then we can hopefully get a fresh reset for the TNT division, and we can all forget that this happened and that it happened for so long. This is literally taken up from the beginning of 2022. We are now in July, and it's still a mess. So everything to do with the TNT title in 2022 has been my worst thing, or worst feud of the year. It's just too much. Joey, what about you?
I'm going to piggyback you. I'm just going to do Sammy and ATT in general. I thought Sammy and American Top Team, that was just stupid.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be done. And it was bad.
Absolutely. Ryan?
Since my favorite show is Impact, my worst feud of the year is The Influence versus The Inspiration. This feud was horrendous. Both teams were basically the exact same. They kept on pushing back their match. First due to COVID, then somebody was on vacation, then another team was on vacation, and then they finally had the match, and it was bad. And then they were like, "Oh, well, they get a rematch," and they had to build to the rematch, and it was bad. And then it wasn't a feud about them anymore. It was a feud about Caleb. And the outcome was Caleb got released or left Impact. The Inspiration retired, and the Influence retained everything. And it was really stupid. Me and Angela have talked about how the Inspiration were supposed to be like, the foothold of the Knockouts tag division. And basically, like, they wanted to get the Inspiration for so long. They made this title basically. It looked like they were going to hold it for a while. They didn't hold it for a while, and unceremoniously retired. This was a mess. It took up way too much time, and nobody benefited from it. Whereas if I was going to go with AEW, at least Scorpio somewhat benefited because he got a title.
Yeah.
And the crowd likes him.
I don't know if I'd say the crowd likes him.
Yeah.
He got good reactions when he was a babyface, briefly.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story because there was constantly changing alignments of baby faces and heels in the feud.
That's fair.
Angelo, for worst feud from his favorite show, to piggyback off Ryan, he also chose the Inspiration versus the Influence.
I knew I wasn't going to be alone with that.
And for Rob, he went with Natalya versus Ronda Rousey as his worst. And so then we'll go to our best feuds from our favorite shows. And Rob chose Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. I don't know if I'm supposed to read this towards the end or if I'm supposed to do it now. So I'll read it now. He said, "I am a proud Seth Rollins simp so far this year. Cody's been great too. He's only watched a handful of weekly shows, and most of them have been WWE, though he's seen most of the pay-per-views. But yeah. So Cody versus Seth, he has chosen his favorite feud, obviously starting at WrestleMania, going to WrestleMania Backlash, and then the Hell in a Cell match. Angelo, for his best feud, has gone for Josh Alexander versus Moose. Ryan, I'll let you go.
My favorite feud has been Sammy versus Moose.
Okay.
I think that Sammy versus Moose, for those who weren't watching, came out of nowhere. But if you've been watching since last year, you know that, Sammy and Moose were in the middle of a feud. Then it went away. And I just think that they have such great chemistry that, I thought it was a good reveal for Sammy to attack Moose when he did. And then they've just had really good segments back and forth. You can hate Sammy's. Both of them are very polarizing characters and people. But, I just have to say they've knocked it out of the park. I thought that everything about this feud so far has just been really, really good.
Okay. Joey, I'll let you go next, and then I'll finish this off.
I'm going to go with Punk and MJF. I thought this was really good stuff. I thought both of their matches delivered. And the first one, with MJF beating Punk and giving his first AEW loss in Chicago was, good heat for him. And then their dog collar match was really, really good as well. And I think it got really personal and, two of the, best guys on the mic. And I also think it benefited Wardlow a bit too. With, him, the whole ring thing at the dog collar match and how he basically turned and helped Punk. So yeah, I'm gonna go with those two.
Okay. I'm just gonna say the same things as Joey here. I've also gone for MJF versus CM Punk. I just think that it overall has been the best story that AEW has had this year. Though I will say things are starting to heat up for Christian and Jungle Boy, and I think that has a lot of promise.
That's a lot of potential, yeah,
for the latter half of 2022. So we'll see if we mention that when we get to the year end.
Yeah, whenever Jungle Boy makes his return, it's going to be like a big pop for him, I'm sure.
Absolutely. All right. So I guess the one that makes the most sense would be, since we went over what our best feuds and worst feuds are from our favorite show. I should have done this beforehand, but best weekly show, I've gone for AEW Dynamite. I will give the honorable mention to Impact. I thought Impact has had a really good year this year. Joey?
I'm going to do Dynamite because that's all I watch. But honorable mention to MLW Fusion. Just kidding.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
I don't watch that.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't watch that. No, it's Dynamite. That's all
Ryan, you already said you chose Impact.
Impact, baby.
Angelo has also chosen Impact. Rob has written in, I don't watch enough weekly shows to judge specifically, so obviously WWE main event. But he is just grouping Raw and SmackDown in together, and at this point, sure, that's fine. All right, so we'll go up next to our best and worst gimmicks or characters of the year. And I will lead off with Rob just because I have his open. So we've been doing worst first, so we'll go worst again. He has chosen Butch as his worst character of the year.
Oh, no. Not Butch.
Joey, I'll jump to you. Who do you have for your worst gimmick or character?
I'm going to go with Hardy's family office gimmick thingy.
Okay.
I thought it was just really dumb and didn't really do anything, honestly.
Okay, fair enough.
It was just kind of like random in a way. Yeah, it just really didn't do anything for me.
Okay. Ryan?
I went with Babyface, Ty Conti, and Sammy Guevara as a couple.
Okay. So you're saying when they were babyface?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, everything. I mean, I'd put them down overall as worse, but they were just so much worse as baby faces.
Yeah.
Whereas as heels, they make sense. I just don't care about anything they do.
Sure. Angelo has gone for Lady Frost, and he put in parentheses, "I'm sorry," and he says that he feels bad because he's been ripping on her for months. Yeah, he also suggested that she should have changed gimmicks to Lady Frosty chocolate milkshakes, and as she comes out, everyone in the audience gets a milkshake.
Please.
I love it.
I haven't watched. I will preface this by saying I do not watch NXT regularly, but I have seen enough of it that I can put this person in as the worst gimmick or character of the year. And no, it is not the Dyad. As much as I would like to give the Dyad some note on this list, it is Wendy Chu, the sleeping girl.
Yeah, that's a good one. Honestly,
as somebody who tuned in to Stand and Deliver before WrestleMania, it's her gimmick is so fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry,
sleepy.
It doesn't make any sense. Why? Like, imagine if, like, okay, people probably compare her to Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy's gimmick is at least like we've seen him be a serious wrestler. She just like is a goofy comedy character who sleeps and is in pajamas.
Orange Cassidy isn't sleepy. He just doesn't care.
No, and he just she just all of her moves are based around sleeping offense, and it's just awful. And it's cringy. I'm sorry, but it needed to be put on here. So Wendy Chu gets it for me. So, we got some nice variety.
Wasn't she originally like this, like...
Yeah, she was the demon girl. Yeah, now she's the sleeping girl.
What a turn.
What a career change.
What did Rob choose?
Butch. I said Butch.
Oh, yeah, Butch. Yeah.
Butch.
Yeah.
Butch.
Best gimmick or character of the year, I will give to Jay White. I don't think Jay White, anything he does is wrong. I think everything he does, delivers. His promos always deliver. He's a fantastic leader of Bullet Club. Obviously, he hasn't been in Japan for much this year, but he did some fantastic work in Impact. He was great when he showed up in AEW. And once he came back to Japan for his shocking return, and then him shocking the world and dethroning Okada for the IWGP World Championship. We got some more great stuff from Jay White, and then leading into Forbidden Door, and now heading into the G1. So I'm going to go with Jay White. I don't think there's many people who can top him performance-wise on the mic or just in-ring playing a specific he just the way he wrestles in itself is its own character. So I'm going Jay White. I'll pass it to Joey.
All right. So Ryan's gonna kill me for this.
Oh boy.
And I really know he is.
I
I'm
know
going with the Wizard, Chris Jericho.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, this is the most I've enjoyed Jericho in some time. I like the JAS actually.
Okay.
I like the like all that stuff, and I just really got it. As much as we could say what we could say about Chris Jericho, like how he his opinions and stuff, how he treated COVID when didn't take it seriously and all that stuff, and his wife potentially storming the Capitol. He really continues to reinvent himself to keep himself over, especially this this late in his career. I would say it's pretty impressive to do because not a lot of guys can do that.
No, absolutely not.
So yeah, I'm just gonna go with that.
Okay. Ryan, what's your pick?
So this was the one that I flip-flopped the most on, including twice in the last 5 minutes.
Once you heard Joey say Jericho.
Yeah.
I really like it too.
No. So originally I had written down heel Christian, but then I was like, I mean, he's only been here for 3 weeks. I can't do
enough.
Yeah. Then I went with Stokely Hathaway / Malcolm Bivens, just because he's fantastic on the mic, and I think his Twitter stuff is just fantastic. But again, didn't watch enough NXT, and he's only been in AEW for a bit. So I swapped it again and went with Bryan Danielson. I just think he has had a fantastic run of form as a character of, everybody really likes Bryan Danielson. Everybody wanted to like Bryan Danielson. And he just really knows how to be a dastardly heel. His feud with Hangman was probably the best feud Hangman had, in my opinion, this year. He ran a good run of form, and then had his match with Moxley, with that helping to form the Blackpool Combat Club, and I think him being still a dick and still being a heel in a group that's basically all baby faces is actually really unique. You don't normally see that, where a faction has, different members having different allegiances. And I think it just works really well. So that's why I'm going with Bryan Danielson as my best character / gimmick.
Okay. Rob has gone for Seth Rollins. Once again, he did note that he is the Seth Rollins simp. Angelo has gone for Matt Cardona, belt collector.
I like that.
So this obviously plays up Cardona earlier in the year before he went down with injury, having the Internet Championship, the Impact Digital Media Championship, the NWA Championship, and several other indie promotions championship belts.
And he for a brief second had the GCW Championship.
Well, that was last year.
Oh,
so
well,
so that does not technically count on this.
Well,
but that is that's Angelo's pick.
I like it.
Heel Matt Cardona is great.
Top tier.
All right. Now we're going to go on to the one that I think a lot of us had trouble with, which is the best segment and worst segment of the year so far. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
I haven't started in a bit.
You can go with worst first.
Worst segment of the year so far. Ty Conti, Sammy Guevara, and Frankie Kazarian destroying the TNT title belt while Sammy and Ty make out in the background, and commentary, instead of talking about what's going on in this feud, talk about how it looks like Sammy and Ty are about to have sex and I'm excited for it, according to Chris Jericho on commentary, to which Taz just can't stop laughing about it and says his tongue is really getting down there. Meanwhile, the crowd is real confused because these are the baby faces at this point, and Scorpio Sky is the heel, but they're all cheering for Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Dan Lambert. And this whole segment was just atrociously run. It was between this and the Sammy, Ty, and Frankie going into America Top Team headquarters or their gym, whatever it is, and stealing belts and talking about how they were going to have sex in the belts. So both of these segments worse, but this one was just bad because everybody involved in this looked stupid and sounded stupid.
Okay. I'll go to Rob, who chose the Ronda Rousey and Natalya segment from SmackDown a few weeks ago, where Natalya came out dressed as Ronda Rousey with the raccoon makeup on and pushing a stroller. And if you watch this, which I did because I was considering putting it on my list as well, it was not good. But I decided against it, but that's Rob's pick. Angelo's is Mickie James' locker room address from the January 27th episode of Impact Wrestling. He did not give me any more information on that. So, Ryan, do you remember this?
Yes.
Okay. Exactly?
So after she won the title from Deanna, she had this. She opened the show, I believe, where she was in the ring and all of the Knockouts division was out there, and she was talking about, how I'm going to WWE with the belt. I'm going to represent us well. I'm going to win the Royal Rumble, and then I'm going to challenge somebody for my title at WrestleMania, and we're going to main event WrestleMania because we need to get this on a bigger platform, and none of you guys are really on that level. Again, being the babyface, and then she started giving people nicknames. Her and Chelsea were having this. It was this was like the beginning of the Chelsea and Mickey angle where she's just like, Chel, I love you, Chel. And then talking about how Tasha Steelz is bad. So Tasha walks off, and then started their feud. It was a mess of a segment. And she just kept on, as me and Angela talked about on the podcast when it happened, it felt like she was going into this old adage of just, I'm going to do a WWE style promo real quick. This is how WWE used to kick off their shows, with a 20-minute promo of me just running down people, and that's what I'm going to do here. But I'm also going to be really silly and try to get the crowd into it. But the crowd just wasn't into it. They were just into me being here because I'm Mickie James. It was weird. It was silly. I totally forgot about that. That would have been up there. But yeah, because it did take a long time out of the show.
Okay. Well, thank you for the summary. That does sound pretty bad.
Yeah.
Joey, what did you choose, buddy?
We're on the worst, right?
Worst segment, yeah.
I'm just going to go with anything with Sammy and American Top Team.
Okay.
Yeah, just literally anything.
Fair enough. I have gone for Cody Rhodes' final AEW promo, in which this was right before his ladder match with Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. Cody Rhodes would come out to the ring, and he set up a ladder and then would cut the most rambly promo that had absolutely nothing to do with Sammy Guevara until the final couple seconds of this, where he randomly brought up CM Punk's pipe bomb promo, and then talks about how he was the one who did everything CM Punk said in his pipe bomb promo, about how he opened the forbidden door, working with ROH and New Japan and starting AEW. He randomly called out Red Dragon questioning why the Young Bucks were trying to restart the Wednesday Night Wars after Red Dragon came to the company, and they started their little program, saying that Red Dragon couldn't even cut it in hip toss class in the Performance Center. He took a shot at Walter getting his name changed and referred to him as Gunther McGillicuddy. This was when Gunther was originally named Gunther Stark. And then he started talking about Malachi Black and the House of Black. He started talking about Brody Lee and -1. Then he started talking about the TNT Championship and started talking about Brody, Sammy Guevara, and Miro. And then he finally got to, that's where he got to Sammy. And then before that, before he could finish the promo, he then starts talking about Tony Khan sending him a contract in the mail and notes that it wasn't the one he was looking for, teasing the reports at the time that Cody was going to become a free agent, and says that instead it was a ladder match contract. And that's how we got to the reveal that Sammy Guevara and Cody would have a ladder match. And this was Cody's last match. This was his last promo, and none of it made any sense, because why was any of this brought up in a promo to set up a ladder match? This took like 10, 15 minutes out of Dynamite. About him talking about the Forbidden Door, Ring of Honor, New Japan, CM Punk, Gunther, Red Dragon, Brody Lee Jr., and his free agency. No. It went nowhere. It accomplished nothing. And it was this is what Cody's like. This is the final thing he did. So it's absolutely my worst segment of the year. Because, again, what did it accomplish?
Yeah, fair.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go to our best segments of the year. And I guess I'll go first. And I will choose Christian Cage's first heel promo in AEW. It was between this and MJF's promo, but we haven't gotten to see where MJF's promo has led to. There's been no storyline development since. With Christian, we know the direction. We've seen a bit more of it. But just seeing him come out here in his little turtleneck and just run down Jungle Boy, talking about his dead dad, saying that his mother wants to be with him. We had Luchasaurus come out and storm the ring to try and stop Christian from this just insane promo that had the crowd ready to like eat him alive. We got him bringing up Marco Stunt to get Luchasaurus to back off, and this would set up obviously the heel partnership between Luchasaurus and Christian. I just thought Christian knocked it out of the park with his first attempt here with the heel promo. Super memorable. Definitely one of the best promos of the year. And yeah, so Christian gets my pick. Joey, what about you?
It was between Christian and MJF's. I went with MJF's. I know we haven't really heard of MJF and what was going on, what's going on with him, but I think that is like the surprise factor in it all. We don't know what he's going to do next and what's going to happen, but I'm sure whenever he does come back, since he is, contracted until 2024 at least, that it's gonna be something, I guess, somewhat big.
Okay,
we can hope. But yeah.
Rob went for the whole Kevin Owens show at WrestleMania, which led to the Steve Austin match. He thought the segment was great, and he said that he knows it turned into a match, but everything about it was wonderful. So that's his pick. Ryan, what about you?
I went for Christian's first heel promo as well.
Okay, and Angelo's is the first team promo from the Jericho Appreciation Society. This would have been the one where Jericho explains who the group is. He introduces everybody. He tells everybody that they're sports entertainers. Daniel Garcia cuts Jericho off and seems like he's going to get offended and walk out. And this comes right after Daniel Garcia would win the Battle of Los Angeles for PWG. Or did he win? Yeah, right?
Yeah, and he's currently their champ.
The champion. And obviously, being known as a great wrestler, where he grabs the mic and in the perfect manner says, "If you're a sports entertainer, then I'm one too." A wonderful heel turn. Well, not heel turn, but just, character moment for Daniel Garcia. Yeah. So that finishes up our segments. we're getting into the meat here. So we don't have worst new theme music. I cut it because I tried to make it, just a strict 15 award. So best new theme music this year. Joey, who'd you choose?
I did Claudio's.
Okay.
I really fuck with Claudio's, yeah.
Ryan?
I went for Taya Valkyrie's new theme.
Okay. I went for Jane by Jefferson Starship for Orange Cassidy. Angela went with Viva Los Young Bucks, the music that they came out to at Double or Nothing. That was the parody of Viva Las Vegas.
That makes sense.
Rob, for best new theme music, chose Edge, The Other Side, that he used when he turned heel to form Judgment Day. Or I guess it was before he formed Judgment Day, but Judgment Day then used it as a theme.
Yeah.
So I said we didn't do worst new theme music, so that's that. Now we're getting into, I believe that's all of the best of worst of. So that sends us into our best wrestlers and best match, and worst match. But we'll do best worst match last, I guess.
Yeah.
So best tag team. I feel like this might just run the gauntlet here for most of us. I chose FTR.
I chose FTR.
Joey?
I also chose FTR.
Angelo chose FTR. Rob did not choose FTR, I believe. Who did he choose? RK Bro was Rob's favorite tag team of the year, or best tag team of the year. It is worth noting that, again, Rob says that he didn't watch much AEW Dynamite this year, so he hasn't seen a lot of FTR matches.
Yeah.
So,
as he told us, he thinks one FTR match all year.
Yeah. So, I guess that's a fair enough reason to not choose them if you haven't seen all of their stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, for us, I can't. There's no other tag team I can think of that has had even close to the year that FTR has had across the board.
Yep.
So makes sense. Do we want to do best three females or best three males first? Joey, I'll let you choose. What do you want to do?
I'll do females.
All right. You can go ahead then. You can start us off.
Yeah. You sure?
Yeah, go for it if you want to.
All right. I'm gonna. Is it in any order? Or
that's up to you. If you have it in an order, you can. Otherwise, just three.
I'm just gonna list them, not in order. I'm gonna go with Thunder Rosa.
Okay.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Pretty sure she became champion this year, right? Yes.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Yep. She's really over with the crowd. Everyone just loves Thunder Rosa, and she is great in ring. I'm going to go with Jade as well. I know there's a lot of criticism behind Jade, but I feel like she has gotten a lot better, and she continues to do so. And she's been very dominant, and she continues to, be over as well. And then I'm going to go with Chris Statlander. I feel like Statlander has always been a favorite, and she recently just reinvented herself to like a more serious gimmick, away from like the whole alien thing. And I think she's killing it too. And I think eventually she's going to be a world champion, like an AEW champion, or a world women's champion, or TBS champion.
Okay. Solid enough picks. I'll give Rob's real quick. He has Thunder Rosa, Bianca Belair, and Liv Morgan as his three. Ryan?
I have Thunder Rosa, Bianca Belair, and Toni Storm. I think Toni Storm's really had a good few months since showing up in AEW. I was contemplating putting Jade on there. I give her shit a lot because I don't think she's anything special in ring, but she's very good on the mic. She's a very good character. It's just the quality of opponent that she has keeps her from, in my opinion, being one of the better women on the roster. Just because I feel like she's still doing squash matches, and you don't need that if you're a champion.
Okay. I will give mine, and then I'll give Angelo's. I will give two notes before I actually give mine. I wanted to put Thunder Rosa on, but I couldn't personally justify it because I thought her run, like to start the year, she was barely on TV, and then she got into they went to her and Britt for Revolution. She lost, and then they went like a week later. They did the cage match where she won, which was great. But then between the cage match when she won and Double or Nothing, she didn't really do much. She had a feud like with Nyla Rose that was kind of just there, and then she had the feud with Serena Deeb, which was pretty all right. And I thought their match at Double or Nothing was really good. And then I thought her and Tony was good at Forbidden Door, but they didn't really have much of a build. Hopefully, we're coming out of this now, and we know that Tony and Thunder Rosa are forming a team called Thunderstorm. I would assume that team probably they're going to face off again in a singles match. So I'm hoping Thunder Rosa has a stronger second half to her year in AEW, but we'll see. And I also did want to say that I think Jade has had a really strong 2022 in terms of just character work and really just fleshing herself out, getting to talk. I think the baddies are a great team. I think the addition of Stokely's great. I thought her match quality, like for her pay-per-view matches, have increased. And I just, when Jade's on the show, I enjoy watching. So I'm hopeful that with the introduction of Athena and Chris Statlander that she will progress even more. As for my actual picks, I've gone for 2 women from Stardom and 1 from AEW. My AEW lady is Toni Storm. I think Toni Storm has been a great addition to the roster. I think she's one of the better signings that the company has made this year. And I'm happy that, after her losing to Britt Baker and then losing to Thunder Rosa, she isn't just falling down the card and off of TV. Clearly, they see a lot of upside in Toni, that she's so consistently featured since joining the company. So I think Tony's had a really good year since joining the AEW brand. And the other 2, I've gone for Stardom wrestlers. I have chosen Tekla, who is also a new signing this year for Stardom. I thought she's had a really fun 2022. I think she's had some really solid matches, specifically against Mina Shirakawa for the SWA Championship and against Azumi for the High Speed Championship. And number 1, if I was doing this in a rankings order, number 1 would have to be Starlight Kid from Stardom. If you haven't seen a Starlight Kid match, you are missing out. Absolutely one of the best women's wrestlers in the world today, and just one of the most exciting wrestlers, male or female, around. So those are my 3 picks for the top 3 females of the year. And then we go to Angelo. And Ryan, sadly, he did not choose Lady Frost.
That wouldn't make a lick of sense after he gave Lady Frost.
He could really enjoy
gimmick.
Her matches.
That's fair.
But his 3 picks are, he actually did it in numbers. So his number 3 is Serena Deeb. Number 2 is Thunder Rosa. And number 1, Tasha Steelz.
I like it.
So I'll stick with Angelo as we jump to males. His number 3 is W. Morrissey.
Oh, good one.
Number 2 is Josh Alexander.
All right.
And number 1 is CM Punk.
Nice.
And I guess I'll jump on over, or I'll let you go. You can go.
I was going to say, just you do Rob if you want.
Sure. Rob's are Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Kevin Owens.
Makes sense.
He did say that Kevin Owens was because he couldn't think of a third male. Nobody in AEW impressed me enough because I haven't watched enough. And he thought Hangman's title run was kind of colder than it should have been. And Moxley was gone too long to make the list for me. So, yeah.
All right. I don't know if I was going to say, I don't think Moxley was really gone much of the year.
No, he was gone.
Yeah.
I think he
January?
I think he came back in January or early February.
Yeah, because he came back for Revolution.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So my 3, I went with Jay White. I thought that, the man has been killing it on 3 different companies. That's pretty damn impressive. Will Ospreay. I think that he's just he just hits. He slaps. He's very polarizing, especially this week with his clip of him beating the crap out of Mad Kurt, who people are claiming was unconscious when he was continued to beat him down. But he just has good matches with everybody. And finally, I'm going with Speedball Mike Bailey. Speedball I wasn't familiar with this man. I'd heard his name every so often. I knew Pat was really invested in this man. And he was like, oh, it's a huge signing for Impact to get him. I was like, okay, cool. I thought his theme music sucks, but he just knocks it out of the park anytime he is on TV. In matches, he's had fantastic matches with the likes of Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, the entire X Division at this point. He's now the X Division champ. He's starting an open challenge series, which I think is phenomenal. He had a thrilling match WrestleMania weekend that we saw at Zicky Dice's Outlandish Paradise, or Trouble in Paradise, whatever you want to call it, between him and Effie in a submission match, which was probably the most fun submission match I've ever seen, because I think submission matches normally suck. They're very boring, but they made this as fun as possible. And from what I know, he's just killed it with everybody he wrestles with. He was the Iron Man, basically, of WrestleMania weekend, wrestling for like every single place he possibly could. I think he had 8 or 9 matches in a 3-day span, which is just insane. Yeah, that's my man. And that is my 3 best men wrestlers of the year.
Okay, sure. Joey, do you want to give us your 3?
Yeah. Who else? Who did I miss when I was gone? Was it
You just
Ryan?
missed. No, you missed. I did Rob and Angelo's. So Rob had
what-
Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins. And his reasoning is that he hasn't watched much AEW.
Right.
From what he has, nobody impressed him enough. But also because he hasn't watched enough. And then Angelo. Did I do Angelo's top 3? Yeah, W.
Yeah.
Morrissey, Josh Alexander, and
CM Punk.
CM Punk. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go with CM Punk. I thought, CM Punk, obviously, for obvious reasons. A lot of people wasn't sure if he was able to go and do all this, and he's been really consistent. Having consistent matches. He won the AEW championship, and I'm also gonna go with Bryan Danielson. I think that's just a given. He's just been like on an absolute tear ever since coming to AEW. And he's just really so good. And then I'm going to go with Adam Cole. I know Adam Cole has been, overexposed to a lot of people. But I would say he's been consistent and he's always delivered. And I think it topped it off when he won the first ever Owen Hart Cup. So, yeah.
Okay. Sure. I'll take it. The 3 I have gone for is Jay White. I mentioned, he hasn't done much in like New Japan proper this year, but I thought he's killed it in Impact with some really good singles matches against the one that really came as a shock to me was the Eric Young one, just because, wasn't really expecting them to have such a like really great match together, but they did. I thought him and Chris Bay teaming together against the Motor City Machine Guns was really good. Jay White versus Okada at Dominion was a fantastic match. Definitely one of the best New Japan matches of the year. And then the 4-way at Forbidden Door was, again, I think it exceeded expectations since a lot of people wanted a singles match. They had a 4-way. Thought it still delivered. Again, just unfortunate finish, but I thought Jay was fantastic there too. So Jay makes my list. Dax Harwood, I am sticking to this. I am giving Dax Harwood one of my top wrestlers of the year. I think that this man has proven that he is just a phenomenal talent all around, whether it be tag or singles action. On top of just having an incredible run as FTR, he's had some just fantastic singles matches against Cash Wheeler, his own partner in the Owen Hart tournament, Will Ospreay at Road Rager, against Adam Cole in the Owen Hart tournament, and then against CM Punk as well. And then again, tag matches, FTR has just dominated this year. And I think Dax has just been incredible in basically everything. Just look back at Forbidden Door, where they did the injury angle with him, and then the reaction that he got when he came out to make the save for Tash. It tells you how much people like this guy. And my top person, if I was ranking them, I probably still would give him top. Hangman Page. I really I know some people wanted more from his title run, I guess, or more substantial stories. But if you're just looking from a pure in-ring standpoint, it is hard to beat Hangman Page this year with what he has done and the matches he delivered. I think if the first Danielson match happened in 2022, I think people would be much higher on it. But his year started with his second match with Danielson that the three of us were there live for in Newark, New Jersey for the AEW Championship. 30 minutes, just fantastic stuff. Then he had the Texas Death match with Archer, which me, Joey, and Angelo were there for in attendance. Then he faced off against Dante Martin on TV for the title. The two matches with Adam Cole, I thought the first one at Revolution genuinely pretty underrated. I know people at the time I think everybody liked it, but moving on, I think people have kind of forgotten about it. But it was a really great main event. Obviously, he had the match with CM Punk, which I thought delivered at Double or Nothing. And then, TV matches. He faced off against David Finlay in a pretty solid match. Silas Young in a match that I don't think anybody was expecting, but was pretty good. And then the match with Takeshita, which was fantastic. And then obviously the four-way at Forbidden Door. So Hangman Page, I think, has had an incredible year wrestling-wise. And I think performance-wise, in-ring, nobody does it better than this man. Just consistency is key with him. I have not been disappointed by a match from Hangman. So that sends us to our final two awards, which is the worst match of the year and the best match of the year. I will kick us off with Angelo and Rob just because they're not here. So the worst match of the year for Rob was Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. A match that actually happened and a match that 70-plus-year-old Vince McMahon won. For reasons. And I guess the explanation is, Pat McAfee, he just finished wrestling Austin Theory. Why? Why did they need to have Vince beat Pat McAfee? It accomplished nothing. Angelo's is Josh Alexander versus Big Con. Connor from The Ascension from an episode of Impact Wrestling. Ryan, what is your worst match of the year?
So originally I had Wardlow versus the security guards. I thought that was just awful. It took way too long. It was a mess. But I had to go with Vince versus Pat McAfee. There was no need to have that at all. It made Theory look bad because he couldn't beat this man. It made Pat look bad because he just lost to a 70-plus-year-old. And Vince looked awful in the ring. Yes. It was silly. It was stupid. Yes.
Joey, what about you? What was your worst match of the year?
I'm going to go with the Pabst Blue Ribbon Kickoff Battle Royal from World on GCW. I remember it being a mess and being really bad, and I also remember just saying, who the fuck are any of these people?
Yeah, that's, probably fair. I will choose Lashley versus Omos from WrestleMania Sunday. I thought these two had fucking negative chemistry together.
God, I don't even remember that.
It was just awful to watch. I remember watching this live and just thinking it was terrible. So I have no issue giving it to Lashley and Omos because, at least Vince's excuse is that he's a geriatric old man. These are two very healthy men. Omos, who's young, but obviously green and limited in ring, and Lashley, who most people consider to be very good. So I have no issues giving this worst match of the year so far because it's on your biggest show of the year. You should be putting high quality stuff out, not this. And that's just the best match of the year. Ryan, I'll let you kick us off.
I went for Kazusko Okada versus Jay White at Dominion. I thought the storytelling was really good. I thought that the match was phenomenal. I thought just Jay trying to get under the skin of the crowd constantly to get them to start chanting, and that they wouldn't do it. Was great. And then as the match progressed, it just got like they just kept on like wanting to break the protocols, and then finally doing it as Jay won, because it was just crazy. They didn't. I don't think a lot of people thought that Jay was going to beat Okada here, and he did, and I thought it was just beautiful. I thought this was a fantastic way to kind of get people back interested in New Japan. I think it not only was the match everything you could ask for, but it led to a lot of different stuff that has made New Japan, I think it's back to a place where people are interested in it again on a regular basis.
Yeah. Okay. Joey, what about you?
I'm going to go with a match that not only did I see, but that I saw in person with you guys. And that would be the rematch of Hangman versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW title. I thought this was really good stuff. And, you know, we got bloody Hangman, who's proven that he's always at his best when he's bloody. And yeah, I thought this was a really good match. And it was one of the best matches I've seen live. So
fair enough. I really struggled to narrow this one down. And I have two matches in front of me, but I will have to choose one. So I'm going to go with FTR versus the Briscoes at Supercard of Honor for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. A dream match for many people, and I thought it delivered. I thought it was the best match of that show. And I thought it, for an actual dream match, I thought they hit exactly where you would want it. I thought it was one of the best tag matches of the year, one of the best tag matches, probably ever. You can probably put it up there with like the likes of Omega and Hangman versus the Young Bucks from Evolution. I thought that it was just absolutely phenomenal stuff. So I will give it to them.
what's your runner-up?
Anarchy in the Arena would be my runner-up.
Okay. That would probably be my runner-up. Yeah,
that was just nuts, and it was something. It's just something totally different. So, and we'll go to Rob and Angelo for their best matches of the year. Rob chose Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell, and Angelo. What did Angelo choose? Angelo chose CM Punk versus MJF. Part 2. So I'm assuming he meant the dog collar match. But he did give a runner-up, and he wanted to give a shout-out to Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta from AEW Rampage. This was the star-making performance from Wheeler Yuta against Moxley that, really got the crowd invested in Wheeler Yuta and would lead to him joining the Blackpool Combat Club.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So very fair on that one. And that does it. That's all the awards. We got through them all.
Whoa.
So, yeah, I don't know what else to add on to wrap this up. It'll be interesting to see where some of our picks line up for the end of the year. Obviously it's going to be interesting to see top males because Joey and Angelo both had CM Punk, and obviously Punk's now injured. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back. Or like when he comes back, if it's this year or at the beginning of next year, where he would land, or if he gets knocked off the list because of his absence. It'll be interesting to see if Rock watches any more AEW, or if he is the representative for WWE in our lists.
Also, he has Cody. If he'll have Cody still, since Cody's out.
Yeah, I don't think Cody should be there because he's gonna most likely miss the rest of the year. I don't think he's coming back till the Rumble. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Angelo's list is looking kind of sus. Like
Well,
CM Punk and W. Morrissey out of Impact as of right now, it seems, and it depends on where he shows.
That'll definitely change.
Josh will stay on his list.
Yeah,
probably. I don't think Tasha Steelz will remain on his list.
No.
But yeah, so thank you for joining us for our mid-year awards. Remember, if you are subscribed on YouTube, leave a comment with your answers or whatever you want to do in the comment section. Leave a like. If you're not subscribed, do it. Also, subscribe to the podcast over on any streaming service that you want to listen to us on. Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, Apple, Google, whatever you want to listen to us on, go for it. We appreciate it. And yeah. Do you guys have anything else you want to say?
No.
Be prepared for Impact this week.
Yeah, be prepared. If you're not, Ryan's going to hunt you down.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a longer episode than normal. So we've got Against All Odds and this week's Impact to talk about.
True.
We might have to sacrifice talking about BTI.
I think you should.
It depends on the match.
Sure. And yeah, remember, G1 coverage technically starts next week. We'll have our predictions out for the G1, and then we will have reviews out for the G1 as the tournament starts up and then rolls on from July till mid-August.
Whoop, whoop.
Mm-hmm. I submitted, by the way, during this.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Well,
okay, so
I'm transferring everything from the paper onto the form.
Okay, so the predictions are starting to roll in. We have Sam, who finished it in record time. And as I saw his answer to who is winning the G1 this year, I audibly laughed.
Wait. Can we just know his block winners and then the finals and then the winner?
Yeah, sure. Let me get it up real quick.
This
very curious.
Yoshihashi.
This will be your prediction. If you're listening to this, this will be your preview of
sneak peek. So you get Sam's.
Yeah.
Yep.
This will make you tune back into our actual preview show for the G1.
Yeah, and see if anyone else has hotter takes.
Yeah, it is 20 pages, so you got to let it load for a second here. But yeah, looking forward to the G1. Best of Super Juniors was a really good tournament, so I'm hoping the G1 continues that trend. But obviously, it is a different format this year, and it is 28 people, so we'll see how it goes. So Sam's picks here for the block winners are... Oh, I just lost it. Oh, Lord. So many screens. Block winner. All right, he has Okada as his A block winner.
Okay,
he has Jay White as his B block winner.
Okay, that's not
too crazy. He
has
Zack Sabre Jr. as his C block winner.
Not too crazy.
And he has Yoshihashi as his D block winner.
Okay,
that's a little crazy.
He has Jay White beating Okada. And he has Yoshihashi beating Zack Sabre Jr. So the finals would be Yoshihashi versus Jay White. And he has chosen Yoshihashi.
Yep.
I love it.
Okay.
I'm for it.
So,
I support it.
So if you enjoy Sam's picks, be sure to tune back in for our G1 Climax coverage as we give you the updates on how Sam does for the entire tournament. Which I will try to remember to do for each episode.
Jeez, how many points did he have Yoshihashi finishing with? Do you know?
I'm assuming he chose him to go undefeated.
Oh
I hope he did. I hope he didn't. He has him losing everything, and then he just chose Yoshihashi to be the block winner. So
please,
maybe
kind of like how Angela chose Taguchi to get like a shit ton of points and then not actually win.
True. All right, but that's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining us for our mid-year awards. Hopefully we do it again next year.
Yeah.
And then
2021 monthly awards.
No, we should not do monthly awards.
Daily awards.
You can't even remember to give out Boomer of the Week.
Bro, because I don't watch wrestling every week, and not every week has Boomer stuff.
No, you actually do watch wrestling every week. You watch Dynamite every week, and you watch Impact every week.
Yeah, but again, not everything has Boomer stuff. I kept on suggesting things about what JR says, and you're like, no, he's a cancer survivor. We can't give him stuff.
Okay, you need to stop trying to attack the man.
Oh my God, he's not good. Get him out of here.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. We will talk to you guys whenever the next episode is. So thanks for listening. Thanks for making it to the end if you did. And we will talk to you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.